Hello. Oh, what? Ah, there we go. Hello, welcome to the show. My name is Jacob Davidson. I am a legal layman in North Texas, and this is a show where I try to learn the law and educate while I'm learning. Welcome to it, guys. Ladies and gents. I am here. After a while, it feels like. I think I didn't even do a 3-day weekend. Not like last time. No, I actually streamed the whole week last time. It just ended early. And I got a plethora of topics for you guys. So, for one, Biden. Lots of Biden. In fact, there's so much Biden, I could be hunting for Bidens. Call me Hunter Bidens. His speech after we talk about his fall in at the airman's ceremonial graduation or whatever that was. Apparently, we missed another incident of him having a similar sort of incident. And then his speech. Yes. His Oval Office address. Which will be interesting, to say the least. I heard some things in there that I didn't like. Oval Awful address. Hey there, NC Native. How you doing, buddy? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah. I really want to go back to... I don't know why. I want to go back to talking about Uganda. That rage made me feel a special kind of connection. I connected so much with my feelings. I put the words in from my brain, connected them to my mouth, and spoke them exactly how I wanted to how I wanted to present them. It was a special occasion. Ah, I love Uganda. I hate what America's trying to do there. And welcome to it, NC Native. I'm glad you made it on time. Should I let it grow out further? It's not gonna come up here. I wish it would grow in this little area, but it's not. Just trim. Keep the mustache, I guess. I'll need to remember to turn on the desktop volume and audio whenever I come back to it. So, without further ado, I will click on the Rumble Rants thing. Extension thingy. Is this a sidebar? Cool. Alright, option, pop out. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's how we do it. I wonder who'll pop on. Hey, do you know if Aussie is streaming right now? Hold on, let me go check that out before I do anything else. Because he was doing a grift stream. Aussie! He's doing a stream. All right. So there he is. He's streaming. He's having a good time. Let's fucking go. All right, so Biden talks and fumbles, tumbles and fumbles, and, you know, hits his head on fucking Marine One, which is weird, but we'll talk about that. After that, Texas has passed a bill. A special kind of bill. A bill kind of bill. A law. And I'll talk about that when we get to it. Because I feel like hitting it right now would diffuse the impact and emphasis of the hilarity of this bill. Ziminski, I'm just going to put it simply. Ziminski's not going to be charged with anything from what he did that night. Apparently it's a little different. It's not like Ziminski's not being fucking convicted. However, I think he's gonna have like a lessened sentence, like maybe 5 years, a month. Binger has indicated basically he doesn't want to try this trial, and I'm so fucking done with Binger. I want to put an axe to his fucking neck. I have hated that man ever since he tried to hurt that kid further than he had already been hurt. I hated that man so much. I would use demonic witchcraft to hurt him if I could. But that's about it. Also, YouTube. We'll talk about that later. They have stopped being faggots. I'm just gonna say that much right now. They stopped being gay. Without further ado, we'll get right into the stories. I will not try to do a southern accent again. I'm sorry for that. Biden tumbles during an Air Force commencement ceremony. The White House said Biden tripped over a sandbag. I wouldn't go so far as to say YouTube has stopped being gay. It has stopped being as gay as it was. Their faggotry has decreased. And there are videos attached to these things, so I want to bring those up. President Biden took a surprising tumble Thursday during the commencement ceremony at the U.S. Air Force Academy. The White House said Thursday that the president tripped over a sandbag, that he was not injured by the fall. Biden delivered the Air Force Academy's commencement address earlier in the day. He's fine. There was a sandbag on the stage while he was shaking hands, White House Communications Director Ben LaBolt tweeted. Look at this man. He's on the ground. Could barely get up. After Tumble, being helped up, he's fine. There was a sandbag, of course. Biden's fall Thursday comes about 2 hours after he fell on steps while boarding the Air Force One at Joint Base Andrews. Following the March 2021 fall in which Biden was filmed tripping on multiple steps, the White House said he was doing 100% fine and blamed the stumble on the gusty conditions. Anything to not hurt the guy. It's pretty windy outside. It's very windy. I almost fell coming up the steps myself. He's 100% fine. The White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters at the time, nothing more than a misstep on the stairs, former White House Communications Director Kate Bennington added. This is a developing story that will be updated with additional information. It's not that updating story. And there he goes. There he goes. Let's get that in full screen. Say that again. Holy shit. He fucking tumbled. He couldn't even get himself up. What a guy. He did point to the sandbags, though, so I'll say it's not unlikely that he got sandbagged. Biden hits head while exiting Marine One hours after getting sandbagged at Air Force ceremony. The follow-up to that is incredible. Biden told reporters he got sandbagged after his shocking fall in Colorado Springs. President Joe Biden appeared to bang his head on the helicopter door while exiting Marine One Thursday afternoon, just hours after falling on stage during Air Force Academy commencement ceremony. Reporters waiting for Biden on the south lawn of the White House watched as the president hit his forehead while stepping out of the helicopter. While Biden did not appear to suffer any injuries, he rubbed his head where it was hit as he walked across the lawn. Naturally. I got sandbagged, the president said to reporters, apparently referring to his recent tumble that the claims he was caused by the bag of sand on the stage. Biden's fall at Air Force commencement mockery draws concern. Mockery. This isn't fair to anyone. No question. No. No questions. No. Biden told reporters before walking away after delivering the commencement address at Air Force Academy graduation ceremony Thursday. Biden took a shocking fall as he left the podium. The plunge quickly prompted concern on social media from users worried about the 80-year-old's health. This is not funny. This is just sad. Under no circumstances should this man be our president in 2025. Praying for our country, Representative Wesley Hunt, Republican from Texas, tweeted after the fall. Outkick founder Clay Travis also commented on the incident. Biden just took a big fall on the stage at the Air Force Academy graduation. This is elder abuse. He isn't well. Look at this man. Holy shit. He's got to be a service agent. But like, look at him. He's all limbered up. He's got a fucking 90-degree angle with that leg right there. 90 degrees. He's standing upright with a 90 degrees. He's made a box out of himself. That's a diamond. That man's going right up there to help out. Ben the Bolt House communicator director attempted to ease concerns over President's health, writing that the president had simply tripped over a sandbag. He's fine. There was a sandbag on stage while he was shaking hands, LeBolt wrote in a tweet and a Twitter post immediately after the incident. I mean, he could just stop tripping. That is also an option. I want to see his response. Twitter Trump. Trumpo. Trump on Biden fall. That's funny. Okay, here is his comments. Here we go. Oh. Right. Alright, so here's this.
He did? He just fell on what stage? He's at the Air Force Academy. He actually fell down? Well, I hope he wasn't hurt. I hope he wasn't hurt. But it's the whole thing is, look, the whole thing is crazy. You got to be careful about that. You got to be careful about that because you don't want that. Even if you have to tiptoe down a ramp, you got to tip. It's like an ice skate. You know, it's a shame because that was the best speech I think I've ever made. And it was pouring rain, and it was horrible and cold and windy. And they have a ramp that was pure like an ice skating rink. And it was like 25 feet long. And I talking to the general, and he has boots on, you know, big combat boots, and they're rubber soles. And I have nice leather, good. And I say, you know what, General, get ready. If I grab you, you just get ready, because I got this stupid ramp that somebody put up, and there's no stairs, right? And I said, so I tiptoed down, and I suffered for that. They never covered my speech. But everybody, the smart people understood that. But that's too bad. If you fell, it's too bad. Look, it's just... Yeah, the winds. Yeah. Look, you know, we gotta just get this thing back on track. That's a bad place to fall when you're making. I think it was the Air Force Academy, right? He's making. That's not inspiring. Go ahead.
That was pretty good, I will say. I actually like this little. He's not hateful. I will say that. It's certainly. This made me like him more. I already liked him a little bit, but this made me like him just a little bit more. Cause you'd think that the first response, at least from my gut feeling, because I would do it, because I'm an asshole, I would be like, ha ha, try not to trip next time, loser. But he's like, I hope he didn't hurt himself. Which was an immediate response after figuring out the situation. But also number two, I like this whole situation because it's like, it feels like a conversation. It feels like Trump is talking to people. He's in a room where someone's like, hey, Trump, this thing just happened. And he got to respond to it. And it's not like, hey, it's not like he learned it after the fact and then reported on it. It's like, no. This is how Trump reacts and talks to his constituents. It's very personable. Hope he wasn't hurt. It was a very good thing. It's like, fucking hell. All right. I gotta get off this. All right. So, Biden tumbles and fumbles and hits his head on some stupid shit. That's all fantastic. All right. Now, for 12 minutes of free, uninterrupted, I don't have to do anything time. The Biden address in the Oval Office. It's a 13 minutes roundabouts. So let's get right to it.
My fellow Americans, when I ran for president, I was told the days of bipartisanship were over, and that Democrats and Republicans can no longer work together. But I refuse to believe that, because America can never give in to that way of thinking. Look, the only way American democracy can function is through compromise and consensus. And that's what I work to do as your president. You know, to forge bipartisan agreement where it's possible and where it's needed. I've signed more than 350 bipartisan laws thus far in just 2.5 years, including an historic law that rebuilding America so that we can rank #1 in the world in infrastructure instead of where we're ranked now, number 13 in the world. Another historic law, rebuilding our manufacturing base so that we'll lead the world once again in making semiconductor chips so much more and so many more sophisticated ones. And now, a bipartisan budget agreement. This is vital because it's essential to the progress we've made over the last few years.
Oh, you cannot be serious. That is stupid.
Is keeping full faith and credit of the United States of America and passing a budget that continues to grow our economy and reflects our values as a nation.
I would have loved, not gonna lie, I would have loved to see the debt ceiling, the debt crisis happen. It's a little bit of like a accelerationist, the dream. I live in a house of seniors. I would have actually gone and started working multiple hours or more hours just to be able to make up for the lost money that they would have had. But like, it frustrates me. I want to ask the government if I could fucking opt out of the Social Security bullshit and collect it right now and then just save it for myself. I'm so tired of people taking my money from my workflow. I should be profiting off of it, not the fucking government.
That's why I'm speaking to you tonight, to report on the crisis averted and what we're doing to protect America's future. Passing this budget agreement was critical. The stakes could not have been higher. If we had failed to reach an agreement on the budget, there were extreme voices threatening to take America for the first time in our 247-year history into default on our national debt. Nothing would have been more irresponsible. Nothing would have been more catastrophic. Our economy would have been thrown into recession. Retirement accounts for millions of Americans would have been decimated.
Why? Why? Why is it that if the government pays its debts, the government cannot pay back its social security programs? Why is it that the paying back of the people that you forcibly took money from is the consequence? That shit should be in a separate fund, protected and untouchable. They're playing investments with your retirement money, and they can't even pay you back if you tried to cash it in. That's the problem. They're playing with our money and claiming that they're taking the money to give it back to us when we're done with our work. They can fuck right off.
8 million Americans would have lost their jobs. Default would have been
8 million Americans? Like, is this guy talking about, government workers? I don't see a problem with that. If it's 8 million government workers, hell yeah. That is the greatest thing to hear. 8 million Americans, if they are government, public officials, that I agree.
and have destroyed our nation's credit rating, which would have made everything from mortgages to car loans to funding for the government much more expensive. And
He can take that funding for the government and shove it right up his fucking asshole. I want this man in such a bad state. Hope he trips more over everything.
it would have taken years to climb out of that hole. And America's standing as the most trusted, reliable financial partner in the world would have been shattered. So, it was critical to reach an agreement. And it's very good news for the American people. No one got everything they wanted, but the American people got what they needed. We averted an economic crisis, an economic collapse. We're cutting spending and bringing the deficits down at the same time. We're protecting important priorities from Social Security to Medicare to Medicaid to veterans to our transformational investments in infrastructure and clean energy.
The clean energy can fuck off. And I want my Social Security funds right now.
I want to commend Speaker McCarthy. You know, he and I, and our teams, we were able to get along, get things done. We were straightforward with one another, completely honest with one another, respectful with one another. Both sides operated in good faith. Both sides kept their word. And I also want to commend other congressional leaders. House Minority Leader Jeffries, Senate Majority Leader Schumer, Senate Minority Leader McConnell. They acted responsibly and put the good of the country ahead of politics. The final vote in both chambers was overwhelming, far more bipartisan than anyone thought was possible. So, I want to thank the members of Congress who voted to pass this agreement, which I'm going to sign tomorrow and become the law. So here's what the deal does. First, it cuts spending. And over the next 10 years, the deficit will be cut by more than $1 trillion. And that will be on top of the record $1.7 trillion I already cut the deficit in my first 2 years in office. And it's clear we're all in a much more fiscally responsible
What?
office. 0.7 trillion. And that will be on top of the record 1.7 trillion. $1.7 trillion. I already cut the deficit in my first 2 years in office.
Doubt it. Heavy doubts. How can you cut the deficit when you continue spending every day? He has not changed the spending habits of America. So what is he talking about?
And it's clear we're all on a much more fiscally responsible course than the one I inherited when I took office 4 years ago. When I came to office, the deficit had increased every year the previous 4 years. And nearly $8 trillion was added to the national debt in the last administration. And now we're turning things around. And that's good for America. You know, my dad used to have an expression. He said, Joey, don't tell me what you value. Show me your budget. I'll tell you what you value. That's at the heart of this debate. What do we value? Protecting seniors. You may remember during my State of the Union address, there was a spirit exchange between me and a few Republicans spontaneously occurring on the floor of the House of Representatives. I was pointing out that for years, some of them were putting forward proposals to cut Social Security and Medicare. And some of them that night took exception, and they said very loudly that that wasn't true. So I asked them on the floor at that night, I said, ask them a simple question. Will you agree not to cut Social Security, not to cut Medicare? Would they agree to protect these essential programs? They're a lifeline for millions.
They're not essential programs. You design them to be essential by forcing people to take their money out of the accounts, and then you use it to threaten them in the case of a default. You threaten them with it every time someone comes against it. Every time someone thinks, maybe we shouldn't be collecting money from the people. Rather, we should be, I don't know, not doing that and letting the people chart out their own destinies. It's not essential. It's not essential to life. It's not essential to prosperity after work. It's essential to the Democrat policies. It's bullshit. And we don't need it.
Americans. Programs that these Americans have been paying into every single paycheck they've earned since they started working. And that provides so much.
Julian, it makes me so fucking angry. This government, man. This fucking government. It makes me want to... First, we threaten Uganda for having their own sovereignty. We threaten them because it is better for us to impose on them, I suppose. Uganda makes its own laws, and we decide, you know what, Uganda? How about fuck you? Because we think we can control them. Here's an answer for the Ugandan problem. If we want to control them, we conquer them. We go and take Uganda by force and then enforce our own policies. We don't get to be world police without conquering them first. And then this motherfucker wants to say Medicare and Social Security is necessary programs to protect our liberties or protect our livelihoods. They take our money and then they threaten to refuse to pay us back if they lapse in judgment and in finances. If we do it, we just lose our houses and die. Leave it to us. Stop putting the decision and the problem in the hands of the government, the least competent people. It also removes the accountability aspect from the government and puts it on us. It's a win-win. The government never has to deal with being threatened with policy going, oh, you want to hurt the old people because they won't be able to have their money. It takes it away from them. It gives it back to us. It gives us our accountability for our own prosperity after we're done working. It puts our destiny back into our own hands. It takes it away from the government. Oh. Why does a white president want to control a black country? Is that racism? Colonialism? It's all the above. It's all the above. Honestly, though, as bad as Uganda's law will be, it has the possibility of being so much worse. I say fuck it and let them do it. Our government does twice as bad, twice worse to us on a daily basis, but we're just so comfortable about it, we accept it. Oh, I want control over my life. I have a destiny. It's in my hand. I was born in America. Born an American. I am the Texan of all things. My destiny and my course of life is within my own hands and no one else's. It should never be in the government's. All right. I like... I'll talk about it after the video. I'm going to continue this Biden bullshit.
With the bright lights and cameras on.
There's a guy who has a...
I gotta continue and I get hit with the fucking ad.
Two Republicans who were protesting, they agreed. They said they wouldn't cut it.
And those Republicans are fucking cocked. They're so retarded. God.
How we protected Social Security and Medicare from the beginning.
You threatened their policy making. You threatened them on center stage. You threatened them with the lie that Social Security is so important that if it was cut, American seniors would just come tumbling down. But let's just ignore the fact that Democrats spent the last 2 years killing seniors by putting them in nursing homes with infected people and locking them down in a way that people couldn't actually go and buy them food. There was a plot. There was a organized, controlled method to kill seniors, and they want to protect Social Security. Protect the seniors before you protect their fundings, fuckers.
And from it being cut, period. Healthcare was another priority for me, a top priority. I made it clear from the outset, I would not agree to any cuts in Medicaid, another essential lifeline for millions of Americans, including children.
I have yet to see how Medicaid helped anybody. I have no understanding how Medicaid does this.
Children in poverty, the elderly in nursing homes, and Americans living with disabilities. The original House Republican proposal would have cut health care for up to 21 million Americans on Medicaid. And I said no. And Medicare was protected. And so were millions of people most in need. Look, I've long believed that the only one truly sacred obligation that the government has is to prepare those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home and when they don't come home. That's why my last budget provided VA hospitals with additional funding.
How about you stop getting us into wars, motherfucker? I care for those that we send into harm's way. You could stop sending them into harm's way, for one. And you could stop getting them into harm's way by stopping the purposes of sending them into harm's way. Stopping wars. Get out of Ukraine. Get out of anywhere else. We don't need to be in these other countries anymore. Sure, we could keep an intelligence division there. Fine. I can accept that. We keep someone there to keep watch and keep an eye and let us know if something's going awry. We don't need to send our troops to places like these anymore. Stop bleeding our forces dry with wars that only hurt them, and we don't have the people anymore to resupply the numbers. They're coming up. They're coming up, sure. But they're not good. They're not great. They're all whiny punks who can't handle a day with intensive fucking training and pronouns. US camouflage in the next 10 years is gonna be rainbow colored. Stop sending them into harm's way. Let the recruits get old. We shouldn't have to fight wars anymore. We have the tools. We have bombs. We have nukes. We do not have to fight these wars anymore. We could just flex our muscles and force things to submit. And if they don't, and we're in danger if they don't submit, then we take them off the map physically. Agreeable, Julian. We do not need to trade with these motherfuckers. Trading with them is not a necessity. We should be able to supply ourselves with whatever we need and whatever we want. We have the world in our hands. We have resources in our hands. If Taiwan has all the silicon to make the semiconductors, we devise our own way to making silicon. We don't need to be there. We just need to make a process where we can stay here and do it ourselves and not focus on them. I love Taiwan. I love Taiwan like anyone else might. I love them because they stand for their freedoms. They stand for an American value, which has long been lost to many Americans. It's like Hong Kong. Should we protect them just because they have silicon? No. We should protect them because they're brothers in arms. They're brothers in liberty. NC Native, what the fuck are you saying? What are you putting on me? That is vile. Do not. What is up with you and porcupines? Don't assert that I would do a thing with a porcupine. What the hell?
For more doctors, nurses, and equipment to accommodate the needs of veterans and more appointments. The House Republican plan would have meant 30 fewer million VA healthcare visits for our veterans. But we didn't let that happen. In addition...
Oh, like a fat load of good VA fucking hospitals are. Most of the veterans are going to private hospitals because the VAs are dog shit fucking wasted. My best friend requires treatment. He could require something that would help him come back to a sense of normality. He's got PTSD. He's got numbness from shrapnel on his left side. He came back from the war but did not come back untouched. He is fettered by the damages and disabilities he suffered while at the war. And why can't the VA fucking restore him to what he was? There's not a lack of science in the way. There's not a lack of medicine in the way. And if there is, why isn't the VA funding research that would make it so that way they could restore him to what he once was? The VAs are not all that great, Biden. Why did you fight to keep them funded? They treat our troops like trash, and then they throw them to the sideline with substandard treatment that a private hospital would be able to do with a little bit more money and a little bit more care. Why do we care about the VA hospitals when they do so little for our troops?
This bill fully funds the Bipartisan PACT Act, the most significant law in decades for veterans exposed to toxic burn pits and for their families. It expands access to those veterans and their families to health care and to disability benefits. Look, we're investing in America and our people and in our future. We've created over 13 million new jobs, nearly 800,000 manufacturing.
We created 13 million new jobs. No, we restored our old ones. Stop fucking lying, Biden. He can't claim credit for something he didn't do. As soon as he became president, all the Democrat states decided to release their pandemic emergency requirements. They released their emergencies and then let jobs come back to work. But that was a disaster even then because most of them had already died out. He didn't create new jobs, they restored them back to what they were. He can go fuck himself.
Manufacturing jobs. Where is it written that America can't lead the world again in manufacturing? Unemployment is at 3.7%. More Americans are working today than ever in the history of this country. And inflation.
Isn't unemployment also taken into account the people who want to work? How is unemployment counted? If I remember right, unemployment takes into account people who do want to work and are looking for a job. And it doesn't count people who aren't looking for a job and are unemployed. Of course it would be at a low. No one wants to work these days.
Inflation has dropped 10 straight months in a row. In this debate, I refuse to put what was responsible for all this economic progress on the chopping block. This bipartisan agreement protects the law that will help us build the best infrastructure in the world. It fully protects the Chips and Science Act, which is going to bring key parts of our supply chain to America, so we don't have to rely on others, like semiconductors, those tiny computer chips smaller than
Then bring back the fucking pipeline, you retard.
the tip of your finger, that affect nearly everything we rely on, from cell phones to building automobiles to the most sophisticated weapon systems and so much more. We protected another law that I passed and signed last year that finally beat Big Pharma, which I've been trying to do for over 30 years. It finally gives Medicare the power to negotiate lower drug prices, just like the VA has been able to do for veterans.
So is that what he substantially changed? Trump did this before he left office. He did that. But I think he did it for everyone. I think Biden reintroduced it and brought it back for the VAs. Or not for VAs, for Medicare. Where's my ability to negotiate lower drug prices? I'm not on Medicare. Where's my power to negotiate drug prices, you fucker?
This law has already dramatically cut the cost of insulin for seniors. from as much
That's
as
the Trump thing.
$400 a month to just $35 a month for insulin.
That's the Trump thing.
Negotiating lower drug prices not only saves seniors a lot of money, it saves the country a lot of money. $160 billion that's not having to be paid out because drug prices are more rational. We pay the highest drug prices of any industrial nation in the world, and it's just the beginning. You know, we also protected the most significant breakthrough ever in dealing with the existential threat of climate change. Today, new
Climate change. I have a theory on climate change. I don't think climate is changing. I think climate's cycling. I think we go through cycles in our climate where we go through really hot times and then really cold times. What about that? What is the chance that there's not a climate warming crisis? What if there's a chance that there's a climate cooling crisis in the future?
wind and solar power is cheaper than fossil fuel. Since I've been in office, clean energy and advanced manufacturing have brought in $470 billion in private investments. It's going to create thousands of jobs, good paying jobs, all across this country. It's in been in office, clean energy and advanced manufacturing have brought in $470 billion in private investments.
Private investments. How is that his credit? Why does he get to take credit for people buying into something?
It's going to create thousands of jobs, good paying jobs, all across this country, and help the environment at the same time. Remember, at the beginning of this debate, some of my Republican colleagues were determined to gut the clean energy investments. I said, no, we kept them all. And there's so much more to do. We're going to do even more to reduce the deficit. We need to control spending if we're going to do that. But we also have to raise revenue and go after tax cheats and make sure everybody's paying their fair share. No one, I promise, no one making less than $400,000 a year will pay a penny more in federal taxes. But like most of you at home, I know the federal tax system isn't fair. That's why I kept my commitment, again, that no one earning less than $400,000 a year will pay a penny more in federal taxes. That's why last year I secured more funding to go, more IRS funding, to go after wealthy tax cheats. The nonpartisan congressional budget.
Oh, the IRS. Got your tax sheets. If God were good, he would carve out the IRS department and strike it into ash and dust. He got more money to pay to the people who take our money to go after tax cheats. I swear, it's enough to make a man go insane. Insanity is what this is. It is not only a lack of sanity in the presence that we have here, but it's also the stupid game definition of insanity of repetitive, redundant efforts meet with similar results. Insanity is defined by people who do things over and over again and expect different results. The incorrect definition of insanity. It is both that and this.
Office, and it is nonpartisan, says that this bill will bring in $150 billion, and other outside experts expect that it would save as much as $400 billion because it's forcing people to pay their fair share. Republicans may not like it, but I'm going to make sure the wealthy pay their fair share.
You do that with a consumption tax, by the way. If wealthy people buy a shitload of things, they pay more in taxes inevitably by the fact of their spending. This guy is wanting to make people pay out of their pockets because they existed and earned money. I disagree.
I'm also proposed closing over a dozen special interest tax loopholes for big oil, crypto traders, hedge fund billionaires, saving taxpayers billions of dollars. Republicans defended every single one of these special interest loopholes. Every single one. But I'm going to be coming back. And with your help, I'm going to win. Right now, catch this. Right now, the average billionaire in America pays just 8% in federal taxes. 8%. Teachers and firefighters pay more than that. That's why I proposed a minimum tax for billionaires. Republicans are against it, but I'm going to keep fighting for it. No billionaire should pay less in federal taxes than a teacher or a firefighter. Look, let me close with this. I know bipartisanship is hard, and unity is hard, but we can never stop trying. Because in moments like this one, the ones we just faced, where the American economy and the world economy is at risk of collapsing, there's no...
Not the world's economy. Fuck you. The world would be just fine if we collapsed. We're not that important. Fuck off, Biden.
No other way. No matter how tough our politics gets, we need to see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow Americans. Treat each other with dignity and respect. To join forces as Americans to stop shouting, lower the temperature, and work forces as Americans to stop shouting.
Stop shouting?
Lower the temperature and work together to pursue progress, secure prosperity, and keep the promise of America for everybody. As I've said in my inaugural address, without unity, there is no peace, only bitterness and fury. And we can never become that country. I can honestly say to you tonight that I've never been more optimistic about America's future. We just need to remember who we are. We are the United States of America. And there's nothing we can't do when we do it together. So thank you all for listening, taking the time tonight to listen to me. May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
I'm unconvinced. I remain unconvinced. I guess thanks, CNN. Of how you say selected and not elected. And I like the last one. Okay. Thought I heard something. Oh fuck, I forgot to mention something in the title. Andrew Lester. You know that whole old white guy shoots a black kid and now he's being charged with something? You know, the usual kind of story. White guy enacts a little bit of self-defense. Black person is the recipient of such defense, and then he gets charged. Judge rules Andrew Lester case to be partially sealed in shooting of teenager Ralph Yarl. The teen's family criticized the judge's decision to partially seal the case. Andrew Lester, the man charged with first-degree assault in the shooting of teenager Ralph Yarl, appeared in Kansas City, Missouri courtroom on Thursday afternoon. A judge on Thursday set preliminary hearing dates for August 31st and September 1st, 2023, in Lester's case, according to the ABC affiliate and Kansas City KMBC. The hearing came out a day after Clay County judge agreed to partially seal the case in response to the protective order by Lester's attorney, Steve Salmon. The hearing, the judge ruled the discovery in this case will be available to the prosecutor and defense, but will not be public. Will be shared with the public, writing that the ruling obtained by ABC News that the wide-ranging publicity of the case in the national media has cast Lester in a negative light and has continued to erode his ability to impanel a fair and impartial veneer in his future jury trial. A spokesperson for Clay County prosecutor attorney Zachary Thompson told ABC News that the office is dedicated to following the law and accepts the ruling of the court. I would fucking hope so. But I kind of get the feeling they're going to leak a lot of shit. We can assure the public that our office will continue to be as transparent as legally permitted through this process. Our focus remains squarely on achieving justice in this case, the spokesperson said. Yarl's family criticized the decision to partially seal the case in a virtual press conference on Thursday, and his father, Paul Yarl, also attended Lester's hearing. It's been tough, Paul Yarl said while speaking to reporters outside the courtroom about his son's recovery from suffering a traumatic brain injury from the shooting. Yarl's family said that he has been experiencing migraines after suffering a traumatic brain injury that has restricted his ability to participate in activities he loves, like playing music. Sounds like a skill issue, not gonna lie. Yes, Ralph is recovering, but it's a long way to recover, he added. He still gets headaches and has some painful and emotional scars, but he has come along and he's not there yet. But we are thankful for the progress. Andrew Lester, an 84-year-old white man, I almost said woman, was charged with the one-count felony assault in the first degree and one count of armed criminal action as also felony. In April 13th shooting of Ralph Yarl, a black teenager who mistakenly went to his address to pick up his siblings, Lester pleaded not guilty and was released on April on a $200,000 bond. In arguing for a protective order, Salmon said in court that Lester's home has been defaced and has been relocated 3 times since the incident, according to ABC affiliates in Kansas City, KMBC. He added that Lester is in poor health and has lost 40 pounds. Yarl's aunt, Faith Spoonmore, criticized the judge's action, partially sealing the case. Who are we protecting? Granting this ruling. Who are we trying to victimize? I fucking hate. I give a bad voice to people I hate, but I can't do it so consistently that I can keep it up. Who are we protecting by granting this ruling? Who are we trying to victimize in this case? People are too focused on Andrew Lester's age when we should be focused on Ralph Yarl and his age, Spoonmore told ABC in a phone interview on Wednesday. He was only 16 years old when that happened. What type of message does that send to people who think that this behavior is okay? It's just sad that the justice system is protecting them and not the victim.
You stupid fucking bitch. You cunt whore. You rank filth piece of trash. This is how the process plays out.
I get it. Your nephew was shot in an unfortunate circumstance. It shouldn't have happened. Lester, hopefully, should have just said, "Hey, wrong house, please leave," while keeping a gun at his side just in case. But it happened. He perceived a threat to his account. If he's wrong, he's wrong, and if it's not true, it's not true. He perceived a threat. Fine. If that's not the case, then no. However, he is the accused in the case. We give him the most deference possible. All criminal defendants require it.
They require it, and the victim is not of consequence in this case. Who are we trying to protect? The one that has the government putting its boots on his throat. That's the one we protect. If Jarl was the one being charged with the crime, we would want the same protections for him. Spoonmore is an ignorant, emotional mess. I get it. I said I said some things at a person who I have an eroding amount of deference towards. I will admit. As soon as I learned that Ralph Jarl's lawyer in this case was Ben Crump, I may have felt a little way about it. My deference towards him as an innocent kid in this case, he might have been innocent at the time he was shot, but I don't think my deference stands so strong whenever I realize he's in cahoots with fucking Ben Crump, race-baiting lawyer who would turn any incident into something about a race if it meant getting him a high payout and settlement. Spoonmore is emotional. Spoonmore is irrational. Spoonmore is ignorant in this case. I get it. It's her nephew. If my brothers or sister were shot, I would probably want to kill that person myself, despite the justice system. However, the stupidity of the statement still stands. And I would hope, given more reasonable heads, when more reasonable times prevailed in the circumstances of these people, that they would come to realize that, yeah, this process was proper and fair, and we should not go against it in some way. Hopefully. But also, does she not acknowledge the fact that Andrew may have had to move 3 times and had his home defaced? Would you want that for her home and her nephew Jarl, Ralph, in these cases? If it were her nephew being charged and the nephew's home being defaced like this? Seriously. It's a hypocrisy that is outstanding. I cannot stand it. Salmon has argued that Lester has been harassed and received death threats because the attention the case has gotten across the country. The speculation the shooting was due to a racial motive. Such conjecture of a racial motive in the report of the case negatively affects defendants' fundamental rights to a fair trial on the merits, the judge stated in the ruling. ABC has reached out to Salmon for further comment. Ralph was 16 at the time of shooting. Honestly, his age doesn't matter in this case, because I don't think Lester had time or even the ability to contemplate his age. I think if you have maybe like a 6 foot tall kid, regardless of age, you start to think, if you can't see very many features, 6 foot tall guy, oh shit, there's an adult right in front of me. Why is he trying to come into my house? That's probably what some people are thinking. That's what I would think. So, it really doesn't fucking matter. Spoonmore. He's not comfortable going back to the area. He's not comfortable going back to his house, his home, which is unfortunate because he had a lot of great memories in that home. He's not doing the things that he loves. Yeah, he's hurt. He can't do much of anything. It's tragic, but it's not criminal what Lester did. And to say that it is stupid. Alright, next I will take a break from this all and tell you about something that's not fucking stupid and not retarded, not ignorant, and not fucking insane. The Dragon's Treasure. It's a haven for anime and tea lovers. And you know what's not ignorant or ridiculous about this place is the fact that it has fantastic tasting tea. I promise you, I drink it all the time. I'm waiting for my fucking coffee tea, man. Get it to me. I'm waiting for the coffee. Alright, so I got Mana Potion, Sebastian's Morning Earl Grey, Vanilla Cream, and the Red Chocolate Cake. And remember, using code Layman at checkout gets you 10% off all these things. Why is that important? Because it is great. You can get 10% off of everything on the page. Oh, that is so much better. Mana Potion, only teas. Hell, you can even get 10% off your fucking Dragon Wings membership, which is how you get fucking anything on this website. Herbs and spices? You want to build your own tea flavors? Those are in other products. Members only. Teas? White, green, oolong, black, herbals? You have members only teas like Dragonwell Z. You need a membership to get some of the items on this page. And remember, using code Lehman will get you 10% off, even on the membership. So you can get a discount on top of your discount. Maybe. Last time I tried it, it only gave me the best discount option. Ooh, that's an idea. I'll suggest that to the guy. Yeah. I'll suggest that to the team, man. That if someone with a Drake membership? Yeah, Drake. No, Wyvern. Drake's next step. Someone with a Wyvern membership will be able to add their discount to the price. It'll cut into my earnings, sure, but I don't care. It's an incentive as fuck. So yeah, use code Layman for 10% off to get everything off the Dragon's Treasure website. Alright, that's why I undid this. Because you can't see the haven. Remember, they got coffee now. So coffee, Dio and Demon's Extract. Dio is defined by, as flavors of... What's the ingredients? And citrus. Winey, acidic, floral aroma, creamy body notes of chocolate and citrus. There we go. Next time I'll get a 2-pounder of this. But yeah, that's the Dragon's Treasure. Use code Layman at checkout. To Texas we go. To my great state. To my most enjoyable state of Texas. Texas becomes largest state to ban transgender care for minors. June 2nd, Reuters. Texas Governor Abbott on Friday signed a bill that bans transgender health care for including puberty blockers and hormone therapy for minors, making Texas the largest of the 20 states to have outlawed gender-affirming care. Republican lawmakers across the country have promoted similar bills, saying that they mistrust the consensus among majority associates that endorse gender-affirming care as needed and even life-saving for trans youth after extensive evaluation. Texas, the second most populous U.S. state, has the estimated 29,800 transgender youth aged 13 to 17, according to Williams Institute of UCLA. The American Civil Liberty Union and other groups have pledged to fight the law in court, as they have similar legislations in other states. The Texas lawmakers are hell-bent on joining the growing roster of states determined to jeopardize the health and the lives of transgender youth in direct opposition to the overwhelming body of science and medical evidence, or so they say. The ACLU said in a statement when the bill passed the legislature. Texas law creates exceptions for minors who began treatment before June 1st, or for those who attended 12 or more sessions of mental health counseling or psychotherapy for at least 6 months. But those patients shall wean off prescription drugs over a period of time, the law says. Backers of such laws say government must intervene against the wishes of parents and doctors because they fear it will cause irreparable harm and say children are incapable of acceding to such decisions. Groups including the American Medical Association, American Psychological Association, American Academy of Pediatrics opposed the legislation. Republicans introduced more than 500 bills affecting LGBT people in 2023, with more than 50 passing according to Human Rights Campaign, the LGBTQ rights group. Those numbers are up from 315 bills introduced and 29 passed in 2022. Good. I agree. Kids are not even old enough to have sex. Kids are not old enough to get drugs without a prescription and from their parents. Kids are not old enough to drink alcohol. They're not even old enough to smoke, drive a car, in many cases. Why should we allow them to do irreparable harm to their bodies? It's a good move. Cut it out for the kids. What those rhinos are doing to your state AG is a shame too. I don't know about that. I don't know about the AG situation. Is it fair? Is it like assessing it in a similar way to a trial? It's a grand jury. It's an indictment. They voted on it. Now it's up to the Senate. And I have 3 predictions, actually, for what the Senate might do. They might vote party lines, which would be typical. Politicians are inclined to vote party lines, and I wouldn't blame them for it. However, there's another option. So they vote across party lines, or they impeach him properly. Or, and I'm thinking this firmly, that the Senate might just acquit him as punishment to the House. Like, I think even outstanding the evidence, I think the Senate would just say, you know, House, you wasted so much time this legislative session. You put us in a special session. How about we don't impeach your guy because you're so mad about him? And I don't know enough about the charges to say that it's proper or not. It might be. Paxton might deserve an impeachment. But I don't know. I will say, I was mildly compelled by Terry Canales. If only insofar as he criticized Dutton's a few of what Dutton's, Representative Dutton's statements, at least in how grand juries work. Like, it was a correction, and I respected the correction, but I also liked Dutton. Ladies and gentlemen, I just realized I'm at a state in time of my life, time of my understanding of laws and politics, to have become aware of the representatives of my state, if not in part, some of them. I know some of the Democrats and I know some of the Republicans. I know more representatives from the Texas House today than I did before an impeachment. And now I might start covering legislative sessions whenever they come back into session to regular session. Hell, I'll cover them whenever they go back into special session. I might start make it a daily thing. Cover them for like an hour to fill in time, see what they say, see what the arguments are about. And voila, I got a new grift for my channel. Legal layman does what the layman thing does in the legal aspects. I already knew my local rep. I thought about petitioning him for laws. I wanted him to get rid of the fucking TCPA. After the Vic conundrum, the TCPA certainly stopped him from putting up a fair trial. He should still have been able to put that up. Julian. That's fantastic. I love that. That is fantastic. I love that. That's great. Roast me harder. To the unfun news of today. Man who shot first on night of Rittenhouse shooting has all riot-related charges dismissed in generous plea deal. How generous is it? Well, I guess he's not looking so mad. Joshua Ziminski should be hung by his toes on a lamppost until the blood drains out of his body and into his head. Joshua Ziminski is the man who shot his pistol in the air during the Kenosha riots moments before Rittenhouse shot and killed Joseph Rosenbaum. He also allegedly lit at least one fire on August 25th, 2020, and obstructed a police investigation. Kenosha police asked the Kenosha DA, Michael Gravely, to charge Ziminski with first-degree reckless endangerment, endangering safety, resisting arrest, obstructing an officer, disorderly conduct, bail jumping, and arson. Gravely's office charged Ziminski with only one count of misdemeanor disorderly conduct only after the community outrage did the office add felony arson to the charge. Outrage. It had to take community outrage for them to finally try to charge this guy, when it took them less time to fucking charge Kyle Rittenhouse for self-defense. On August 26, 2022, while out on bail for riot-related charges, Brian Ziminski and his wife burglarized and robbed the man at knife point and took him around city to ATMs with an intent to steal the man's money. He was charged with 6 felonies and 1 misdemeanor. He faced many decades in prison. Today, Kenosha County Prosecutor T. Claire Binger, or E. Claire Binger as I like to call him because he's stuffed full of cum, dismissed on all criminal charges from August 25th, 2022. He made a plea deal with Ziminski that included both of those felony files. Today in court, Ziminski pleaded guilty to 1 count of armed robbery and 1 count of armed burglary. Dismissed but read in were the following charges: felony arson, felony intimidation of victim, felony false imprisonment, felony unauthorized use of an individual's personal identifying information or document. God fucking hell. Felony bail jumping, felony arson, disorderly conduct, use of dangerous weapon, battery, obstruction of an officer. T. Claire will recommend as a part of the deal that Ziminski only spends 5 years behind bars following 5 years of extended supervision. Kenosha County Circuit Court Judge Bruce Schroeder accepted Ziminski's 2 guilty pleas and dismissed the remaining charges. Although Schroeder accepted the plea, he's not bound to the prosecutor's recommendation. He can sentence to Ziminski up to 20 years in prison. Schroeder then revoked Ziminski's bail. Ziminski's mother, who was mocking the judge during the proceedings and had been warned several times by deputies not to talk to Josh, was present in court. She posted the $13,000 bail for her son months ago. Also in court today is Josh's wife, Kelly. She received a similar plea deal, and T. Claire will recommend 3 years in prison, 3 years of extended supervision. She'll be sentenced on July 13th, 2023, and has had her bail revoked. Hope he does. He knows about his connections to a Rittenhouse case. Give him at least 10 years. Give him 30. Fuck the recommended. Let's pray that Judge Schroeder gives this piece of shit the full 20 years that he deserves. He and his wife are white trash and don't deserve any plea deals with the rap sheet they both have. In the interest of justice for the people, the office of Marxist DA Michael Gravely does not serve the people. To the mother of the road apple does not fall far from the arse that begat it. Michael Gravely is as corrupt as they come. Look at the response to the Rittenhouse case, the railroading of Zachariah Anderson, and now this. Kenosha can do better and elect someone else. Oh, the FBI false flag in my hometown. Hometown complete with silver spoons, ball money. Ball money. People are upset by this, I should say. I even wrote another email to Binger because, you know, that's what I do because I'm a fag. Oh well. Crap, I'm crashing. I'm crashing like Biden's tumbling. I'm tumbling. Baristas? All right. I think for the last story. Oh, no, wait. I'll cover the fucking DeSantis thing later. I think I'll end this whenever I'm done. But yeah, for a very quick... How short is this? It's a short story. DeSantis news. Live judge steps back from Disney case against Florida governor as 2024 campaign tour wraps up. DeSantis on campaign trail as federal judge disqualifies himself in Disney lawsuit against governor. Ron DeSantis has wrapped up his first tour of early voting states that took him to Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. At a campaign event in New Hampshire, there were bizarre moments when a woman interrupted the governor's speech to tell her that her son's murder was being covered up by the state of Florida. Video captured the unidentified woman being escorted out the event by security as she threw a DeSantis hat to the ground and pulled out one supporting Donald Trump. Wow. The incident came hours after DeSantis snapped at a reporter who persisted in asking him why he was posing for pictures with local voters but not taking their questions. Are you blind, Mr. DeSantis snarled, insisting that he was making himself available. The exchange was leapt upon Mr. Trump, who branded his top 2024 rival angry at Fox News town hall event in Iowa on Thursday evening. Back in the Sunshine State, a federal judge disqualified himself from Disney overseeing a court case brought by DeSantis against DeSantis brought by Disney. The governor is also facing a mountain of criticism over sweeping new immigration law coming into effect on July 1st. Well, that didn't really do much. So I'm bringing a wrongful advertising lawsuit against McCormick, the makers of Frank's Red Hot Sauce. Like the commercial suggested, I put that bleep on everything, which worked alright for my food, but was a disaster when it came to my hemorrhoids. Ah, hemorrhoids. Fantastic. Got him. It's probably the right move. So for the last thing, which will probably take us to the 2-hour mark, hopefully a little bit. YouTube stopped being as gay. Because the faggots realize that they need discourse. YouTube will stop removing false claims about the 2020 election. The decision, which comes ahead of the 2024 election, undoes a policy implemented in December 2020 after Joe Biden won the election, which he did not win. Google-owned YouTube will stop removing false claims of widespread election fraud in the 2020 presidential race. Video platforms announced on Friday. We'll stop removing claims. We'll stop removing claims of widespread election fraud. They're not false claims. They're true claims until they can be disproven. And they have not, for a large part. YouTube said in a blog post, which I'll read instead of going through the fucking news article. I'll get their editorialization after the fact. An update on our approach to U.S. election misinformation. The YouTube team. Today we're announcing a new set of updates on YouTube to protect our community, providing a home for open discussion and debate during an ongoing election season. When we crafted our policies, we also kept two goals in mind: protecting our community and providing a home for open discussion and debate. No, they fucking didn't. They just wanted Biden to have the most fucking wins. They were in it for Biden, let's admit that. Those goals are sometimes in tension with each other, and there is perhaps no area where striking a balance is more complex than political speech. The ability to openly debate political ideas, even those that are controversial or based on disproven assumptions, is core to a functioning democratic society, especially in the midst of an election season. Boy fucking shit, why didn't they do that for the 2020 election? Fuck you, YouTube, go die in a fucking fire. That one woman who was mad at you guys because you didn't pay her like 20 cents, she should have done more. We first instituted a provision of our election misinformation policy focused on the integrity of the past U.S. presidential elections on December 2020. Once the state's safe harbor date for certification had passed. 2 years, tens of thousands of video removals, and one election cycle later, we recognized it was time to reevaluate the effects of the policy in today's changed landscape. Oh, today's changed landscape, not yesterday's landscape. It only mattered when today's landscape has changed. Protect the leftist agenda at all costs, even to make some hypocrites. Yep. In today's changed landscape in the current environment, we find that while removing this content does curb some misinformation, it could also have the intended effect of curtailing political speech without meaningfully reducing the risk of violence or other real-world harm. With that in mind, and with 2024 campaigns underway, we'll stop removing content that advances false claims that widespread fraud, errors, or glitches occurred during the 2020 presidential election and other past U.S. presidential elections. That goes into effect Friday, June 2nd. As with any update to our policy, we carefully deliberated this change, which means I am actually within the policy dates. And that means I can say the 2020 elections were bullshit as fuck, and it's not YouTube to declare if it was false or proper. They're bogus as bullshit. And YouTube can say they're false claims, but they're true claims, and YouTube cannot fucking stop me anymore. They cannot stop anybody. The specific aspects of our elections misinformation policy represents just one piece of broad, holistic approach towards supporting elections on YouTube. Here's what isn't changed. We're ensuring people come to YouTube look for news and information about elections. So basically, this whole thing will basically just say only trusted sources will be boosted to recommendations. Basically, they see content for news informations, and they see content from authoritative sources prominently in search and recommendations. For example, following the 2020 U.S. election, we found that videos from authoritative sources like news outlets represented the most viewed and most recommended election videos on YouTube. In our 2020 election information panels with relevant context from voting locations to live election results are collectively shown over 4.5 billion times. All of our election misinformation policies remain in place, including those that disallow content aimed to mislead voters about the time, means, or eligibility requirements for voting, false claims that could materially discourage voting, including those disputing the validity of mail-in voting, the content that encourages others to interfere with the democratic process. It's not a democratic process, it's a Republican process. The rest of our policies continue to apply to everyone on YouTube for types of content, including elections. This includes policies against hate speech, harassment, and incitement to violence. Hate speech is not real. YouTube, get rid of it. We know citizens take the integrity of the democratic process incredibly seriously. So do we. We will remain vigilant as the election unfolds, as we did in 2020 and again in 2022. And we have an election-focused team, including members of our intelligence desk, trust and safety, and product teams, monitoring real-time developments and making adjustments to our strategy as needed. We'll have more details to share about our approach towards the 2024 election in the months to come. Voting by mail is bullshit, and the fact that they will continue to hurt people for this is bullshit. YouTube, amend your policies again. You forgot something. Something that really protects people. You forgot it. It needs to be removed. Do it. Ability to openly debate political ideas, even those that are controversial or that are presumptively based on disproven assumptions, is a core to a functioning democratic society, especially in the midst of an election. You know, it's so good that it can point to YouTube saying, hey, YouTube has agreed. People saying the wrong stuff is a protected thing. Now fuck off. The new rule will go into effect on Friday. In 2020 elections, the company faced backlash over delayed action when it came to labeling and removing videos that showed misinformation. and false claims widespread voter fraud after Jan 6 attack on the Capitol. YouTube said it would begin suspending channels that make false claims about widespread voter fraud. As of March 2023, YouTube had already lifted restrictions placed on Trump's account following the January 6th riot. YouTube said there are still aspects of elections and misinformation policy that remain, including highlighting authoritative sources and recommendations on prohibiting posts that aim to mislead voters in where they can vote. Cool. Today is short. Today will be short. No fancy Jan 6, take a shot. Voila. I'll take a shot if you pay me $200. Pay me $200 and I'll take a fucking shot. How about that? Short like a midget. Attorney Tom Short. Very, very much so. Yeah, pay me $200 and I'll take that shot. I make less than that in a day. And if I take a shot, I can't work. So you know, make it worth it. So it's 4, it's almost 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 hours. I'd have 4 hours to sober up for 1 shot of whiskey. Oh, okay, that's funny. This. All right, Mild. Then I won't take the shot. I'm looking at the filing, in the Project Veritas lawsuit versus James O'Keefe. How did I miss that Recada's lawyer, Mark Mendoza, is representing Veritas? So let's keep Pope No silent on the issue, like both James, Mark. I like both James, Mark. This sucks. Might do a live later on it. And Mark responds how Mark does. This might be the first stream I've watched of you, Jacob, from start to finish. Hopefully. Would be nice. Why would one of my clients remain silent on a case I am doing for another client? That's not a requirement of my engagement. You're not required to proclaim loyalty to me in order to be my client. And Ricardo replies, I'm on vacation. I look at the stupid phone once per day just to remember why I stopped looking at it. Pope knows comes out of silence. He speaks. Hear the words of the law, Pope. He speaks. NC Native, you hurt me. You harmed me. You dig a knife into my chest. That sucked. Tell you what, I got a plan for you. Right click. Delete this mess. What if I deleted your message? He's alive! Oh my god. Yeah, he is. He's alive. Thanks for bringing this crappy weather with you from Minnesota, Jim Statala. When was this posted? 8 minutes ago. I knew he would have a comment for that when he got back. Just post it. Just post the thing. Post my fucking... Oh well. I'll post it whenever it's done. But yeah, I think that's the show today. At least I got an hour. That's all I care about. I think Rendaza may have been a retainer from back when O'Keefe still ran the company. That might be the case. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it here. Here we go. Thank you for your hard work. Yeah, it was hard work. It was hard work putting my fucking thoughts into fucking words. Nah, but I appreciate that. It's... I hate it. I have so many opinions, so many frustrations. Biden wants to be this thing, and then wants to rule the world at the same time. I stopped streaming at 6. Or is your 6 o'clock my 5 o'clock? Because I'm Central Standard. Are you Eastern Standard? Ah, okay. Then yeah, I'll wrap it up in the next 7 minutes. I gotta find my tone and rhythm on this because I keep repeating myself sometimes. Before we wrap up the show, remember to use code Layman at the Dragon's Treasure for 10% off all your purchases. You can find the Dragon's Treasure link in the description down below. You can also find the discount code there. Please use it on your checkout. It gets you 10% off of everything from the tea to the only teas to the Dragon's Wing and any kind of tea wares that this man offers. So not only do they offer tea, they offer coffee now. The Dragon's Treasure is now a haven for coffee and anime and tea lovers. Tears for Fears is right. Every Biden wants to... Every Biden wants to rule the world. Yeah, that also gives you access. The Dragon's Wing membership will also get you access to membership only teas and spices, as well as some merchandise. No, the merchandise is free or available to everybody. And that way you can get fantastic tasting tea with fantastic savings to use code Layman at checkout for 10% off. Descriptions, link description down below. Sadly, it's not an affiliate link, it's just an affiliate code. Alright. And so to wrap it up, please go and like and subscribe on both YouTube and on Rumble. The growth helps every day. You can find... Use code LAME for 10%. Yep. You can find my alternate channel, my gaming channel, which I think I'll do gaming tomorrow. I don't want to cover news, even if I could. Use code 5finger discount for 100% off. Ah, there we go. So, my gaming channel is where I just play games. Maybe. They might have abortion tea. Maybe. Is abortion anime themed? Is it kawaii? They like carried in the first trimester? But yeah, the gaming channel is the place where I go to play games. It's where I go to relax, where I offload all of my stress from whatever this bullshit is. It's where I play, it's where I go when I don't have a topic and when I don't want to have a topic. When I just want to have some fun, relax with you guys. Please go and subscribe to that. It'll help that channel grow as well. And it'll give me much needed breathing room from the law, because the law is a tragic and rough place. Unlikable and unfortunate as it is. I think on Monday I'll continue the Texas Constitution into Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I'll do the Federalist Papers. I don't think I'll focus on very much news for my week. Not this week. So remember to go like and subscribe on all of my YouTube and Rumble channels, all the links in the description below. And you can also find my Twitter account there at Legal Layman with 2 N's. And I'm on locals at legallayman.locals.com, and I'm on backed.buy, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency Patreon. I'm now a featured content creator there as well, but it's not hard. You just need to contact them and be like, hey, this is me, verify yourself, and that's where they go. If only there was a legal layman out there doing comment. Oh, wait a sec. Yeah. News gets depressing. News and the law. I hate reading laws, and it's like, Washington State now allows you to remove children from homes because they won't transgender their children. The parents won't transgender their children. That's a harm to the child. Now you can be removed from the home. Oh, and the state now has authority to transgender your child for you if you won't do it for them. Depressing. Very depressing. I hate it. Makes me want to die. But remember, guys, links in the description down below. Fall of America is depressing. Yeah. It's not fallen yet. We're in the process. We can catch ourselves. We're on the very tip of the fall over. The pendulum is swinging back. It's like a matter of time before we put our foot back in our way and catch ourselves. We're not done. We're not fallen. It's close. And close might be in a couple 100 years, but we're not that close. We're fighting back. We're taking back what we can. We just have to... I'm not done. I just realized. The steps to redeeming America are not lost. And the steps are probably just to relax a little. Make it a cultural thing. Republicans need to enter the culture war and win. We need to accept some of the cultures. The second half of my mild culture plate show today was a spicy rant about groomers. We need to deal with those fuckers as well. But America needs to relax. Everything's not doom and gloom. My grandparents worry so much about the stakes in which we might be raised. They worry about their retirement, mostly because the Social Security bullshit threatens them. But despite our disagreements, I still love my grandparents, and they still love me. They think I'm a Trump supporter, and I guess I am, but mostly because his ideals seem to transcribe to my ideals. At least in large part. But I find myself more often than not lining up with libertarians. The ideals of freedom are too powerful and too strong. It's an irredeemable course of nature. Freedom is power. Freedom is where we get good people to do things. So I'll fight in that regard where I can. And if my voice can grow to show that, then sure shit, I'll do it. I've also been mildly compelled recently with the idea of running for Texas State House. Could you fucking imagine? Jacob Davidson, legal layman, the 22nd District Representative for Texas. And then in a year from here, basically in the start of primaries, I think. Done it. Do it. Yeah, but I've called things faggots now. I've become irredeemable in the court, in the public opinion. So it's either do that, and then hope that the state will pay me a livable wage, because that'll be my job. And two, I wait like a few more months, and then I run for Texas U.S. House. For the U.S. House of Representatives. Because 25 years old is how old you need to be. And in 2 years from now, I can run for Texas Senate. Do it anyway, only the faggots won't vote. I've contemplated it. But I'd need to leave my house. This house, this environment, I cannot be in. I cannot put my family at that risk. If I do, the Davidson name will become toxic to their friends and to the people they care about. My mom will be known. My stepdad will be known. It'll tarnish whatever they've built up because I will have become a divisive figure in the state. I will have to wear a cowboy hat if I do. All right, I'll do it for you. I will wear a cowboy hat if I run for the state house or the U.S. House. Troy Neal's from Minnesota or somewhere won a congressional seat in Texas because he wears a cowboy hat. Find me the finest Stetson and cowboy hat you know, and I will wear it when I run. Lovely. I realized I'm gonna tweet about this. Here, watch me compose it. At least once will I wear a hot pink cowboy hat. Dude, every time someone talks shit, do a live stream calling them fake. I would be removed from the Senate or from the House so fucking fast. I realize, so I'm gonna compose this tweet real quick. Give me a moment. I realize after reading the Texas Constitution, my fucking typing is wrong. There we go. And the U.S. Fuck again. I swear I type better. I'm at an angle. It's awkward. I am eligible for Texas State House 3 years ago, and eligible for U.S. House in 2024. I'm contemplating running for Texas State or holding off and running for U.S. House. I'll be obliged to wear a cowboy hat. There it is. I'm retweeting it to help boost it. I'll retweet it again in a little while. There we go. Ah, fucking hell, guys. So with that, I want to say that I'm writing a story that I'm hoping will turn into a comic. Unfortunately for me, but fortunately for you, you're saved the headaches. I'm writing a story right now that I'm going to talk about maybe on the gaming channel while I'm thinking gaming. But I'm hoping to turn it into a manga, basically. I want this story in Japan. And I'm hoping it'll be a good story because, you know, if it's a good story, it's shareable. And it's up to time and whatever to determine whether or not that is the case. However, hopefully, an audience scoring will determine it's good. And I'll talk about it more later, but I just want to let everybody know I'm writing something to hopefully turn into a stream of revenue and tell a story that I hope is compelling. I've got the ending in mind. I've got a beginning in mind. I've got a midway point in mind. I just need to craft the story around those points. And after that's done, I just need to find someone to draw it. So hopefully that'll be a path for me later. I'll share some of it with you guys later-ish. Maybe in another stream, not this stream. But that's what I plan on doing. Julian's gone. Unfortunately, I was unable to wrap it up within the time I said I would. But that's fine. Have it start as a manga, but have it in as a hentai. It's the best of both worlds. I'm not avoiding sex as a topic in the show or in the story. In fact, I plan on making it a main point for how characters interact at some points. I am not absconding sexual elements from my story. Trust me. There'll be titties, and there'll be sex, and there'll be a plethora of references towards it. I might have like a separation of it, so it's like the story comes out first, and then a little bit after that comes the sexy portions, animated by a studio somewhere, hopefully. Like, hey, so here's what happened at certain points in the story. Have at it, guys. Have at it. But yeah. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube and on Rumble. It helps the growth. I appreciate it very much. I will see you guys. Wait, hold on. Like and subscribe on YouTube and on Rumble. I have a gaming channel. Do that as well. Like. Follow me on Twitter at Legal Layman on Twitter. I know NC Native doesn't have it. Noodles going into Cheerios and stuff like that. Yep. And you can find me at legallayman.locals.com for your more average support basis. And then you can find me on back.buy, which is a blockchain Patreon, which cannot be canceled and is a great way to help me out and support me if you'd like. But with all that said, thank you for watching and thank you for the support. I'll see you guys next time. I appreciate the viewership, and hopefully I'm gonna have a fun game to play tomorrow. It's probably just gonna be Convergence again. I like playing that mod. It's a fun mod. Have a good day. I'll see you guys tomorrow when I start gaming. And hang loose.